Hey y'all, how y'all doing? So, we's out here. Look, we's out here in these streets. Let me tell y'all, this was not what I was coming to talk about, but I just seen a sign and it had my cousin on it because he running for city commissioner, one of the seats for the commissioner seats. And I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I feel like I might want to do that one day. Maybe like 2 years from now, maybe one, because in 2 years I might be gone from this area, but maybe next year. I don't necessarily know what I need to do in order to become city commissioner, like take one of the seats as city commissioner. But he's currently running for city commissioner, and I'm so excited for him. And to see his face on the little board, the little poster boards and stuff. His old lady was running for something. Y'all in the country, old lady. Sometimes it can refer to a person's mother, or it can refer to the person they're dating. In this case, it is the person that he's in a committed relationship with. I'm assuming that they married. I don't know. I think they are. Who knows? It ain't my business. I don't know. But she was running not too long ago, and I really am proud of both of them. And I remember a few years ago, it had to be, well, I've been teaching, this will be going on, finishing up my 6-year teaching. So at least 7 years ago, when she initially, his wife, we're going to say his wife, that's what I'm going to call it, because I don't know, to be honest, but I'm going to say wife, because at some point they had got married. So his wife, I really do have a lot of respect for her, and I enjoy. In this case, I'm going to enjoy talking about her because I remember she was a teacher, and it was before I was going into the teacher program, and she was like, "I'm getting out of teaching," and X, Y, and Z, and she had all, she was talking about all these different things as far as like what it is that she wants to accomplish, where she saw for herself, her life, or whatever have you. And to see someone, I feel, achieve that and go beyond their own expectations at the time, like, it says a lot for placement. And when I say placement, I'm talking about the people who you surround yourself with, the people who you call your friends, your community, your family members, whatever it is. It says a lot for that, because regardless of any drawbacks or negative attributes that people may think or see or want to talk about, the thing about it at the end of the day is that she overcame whatever it was from the outside and the inside in order for her to achieve her goals. And I feel that the two of them worked together in partnership, where they were able to push and pull each other up. And I think that that's beautiful, regardless of what has been said outside of their relationship, what has been said about their relationships. At the end of the day, I don't know, because y'all know people talk. I can't even sit up here and pick out a rumor, because I really don't be listening to people. I just hear people talk, drop names, and then move on. And I'm one of those people who people just come around me and just start talking about stuff, and I cannot lie to y'all, I be ear hustling, but as soon as I hear it, it leave me just about as fast. So unless it's really something I'm trying to learn and I deem necessary or important, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I probably won't remember. So I real deal, I need y'all to know that about me, because when y'all come to talk to me about certain stuff, I may have to tell you to tell me a little bit about the story to drag my memory. It's not that I lose it all the way. It just goes in the unused and unnecessary being in my head. I feel like my mind is a labyrinth, and so there's a lot of nooks and crannies and things of that nature. And some things are readily available and some stuff is not. But anyway, getting back to my spill, y'all. I seen the poster. I got to say I'm proud of my cousin. cousins, because she married to the family, so she's a cousin too at this point. But I'm proud of my cousins and what they have accomplished. If they hear this, they probably know who they are. At least I ain't tell none of y'all business, because I ain't got no business to tell. Whether it sound good, bad, or indifferent, it is what it is. So let me tell y'all too. Today has been an interesting day. I'm just here like real deal, just I don't know. Today has been an interesting day. I had a real good day on in my topic on Clubhouse. I was talking about high value versus what is the other one? High income. So high value versus high income, because I feel like these are some trigger words that you hear. And when I say trigger words, there are words that you hear over and over repetitively. Let me not say over and over, because I do that with y'all have to excuse me if I explain words sometimes, because I'm a teacher. I teach 8th grade, and most of my students have a 2nd or 3rd grade reading level. So I'll say the word that I need to say, but I also say other synonyms and things like that in order for you to understand. That's just the way that I speak now, because I've been doing this for 6 years and I can't stop at this point. But I was talking about high value versus high income. And one of the things that I was trying to leave behind is that they don't equate to be the same. You have some people, let's start off with, I want to start with high value since I said it first, but I'm actually not. So sorry for the organizational piece of this, but I'm gonna start with the latter, which is high income, because or high we'll say income. It was another word that I used, but anyway, when you have earning is the word, so high earning. When you have someone who's a high earner, they have high income, high wages. It's mainly monetary based, right? And in the grand scheme of the world, or at least the United States, when we talk about income and what your earnings are, for men, I feel as though it's very much so what makes them a bit more valuable in the market, especially when in terms of dating and things of that nature, husband wise, because what happens is this idea that economics becomes a part of protection, right? When you have a high earner, you're in a place where your money is also what allows you to be thought of as free. It also allows you to be seen as productive. It has all these other positive positive attributes and context around it. Some of this I didn't talk about in my class, in my room, but it is what it is. Y'all understand. So what I did learn through my research was that for most men who are high earners, they usually tend to have a mate who helps to keep up with traditional roles. So they have someone who stays at home. This person gets rid of their careers most of the time, and their career becomes the taking care of the household, taking care and managing kids if they have any. So it's kids, finances, but finances in whatever it takes to get the household up and running. There were like a couple other items that were on a few different lists, but they again take hold of traditional attributes, as I stated, in their relationship. And then you have the men, because I'm gonna stick with men first. Y'all, sorry, it was a man who lost a package in the middle of the road, honey. But anyway, there are men also, well, in a high earning relationship, these men are able to maintain their marriages. Their marriages sometimes last longer. If they don't and they divorce, what happens is they are quick to remarry. Not necessarily saying that is the man, but the most women who see this individual, he's still considered a bachelor, right? He's still economically stable to take care of a family, foster a family. So what happens is, if that person did not have a children in their first marriage, then they're more than likely to have children in the second marriage. Like the household still produces and progresses on. Whereas when we talk about high earners and we talk about women, what I noticed through a lot of the research and things of that nature is that most women who are high earners, the likelihood of the success rate of their marriage is not as high. And then on top of it, there's all these other issues that come into play. So you have some women who, if their marriage does not last, when it goes into a second relationship, they choose not to marry, or they choose not to have children, because then the job it becomes their child, it becomes their number one concern. Or and this is some of the things that I did not see in any of these studies, is many of the women, they tend to not have children because of the simple fact that people, when they do have children, society has this negative outlook and give these women, let's put it that way, let's do layman's term. People give them these negative attributes, because it's like, well, she's a mother and she's not taking care of her kids. Like, she has all these nannies, she has all this help, which I'm a firm believer that people who have children need a community to rely on, and you build your community. I talk about that as an individual. Without children, you need a community to rely on, and you need to build your community and be very strategic in this. Like, you have to know what it is that you have goals and your expectations and success. Just kind of like when I started out talking about my cousin, him and his wife, as proud as I am of them, they had to strategically, at some point, understand what it is that their goals were, find individuals who could help them in the success of that. And that is building community. You're not going to be able to do all your old things, all the old duties, have all the old fun, and still be able to maintain this new identity. You have to foster a new concept of self, or while you're fostering a new concept of self, foster new relationships, and build a new community, or add to your community of individuals who can help you get to the success level that you're looking for. And of course, y'all already know I'm always about that, because that's what I talk about in my class. It has to happen. And being in community, being in relationship with people, whether you talk to them frequently or infrequently, it's still justice, and it changes you as an individual. This is how come some kids, when they graduate high school, they go off to college. Some are more successful when they're in relationship. There was this study that I was researching, or I was looking at about a month ago, that talked about this one professor who really was looking at his students and trying to figure out how come, was it Cornell University? I don't know. It was one of the upper echelons of universities. But he was, or Stanford, maybe. I'm not quite sure. But he was, the professor itself, he was looking at the demographics of students and the success rate of these students. And he was trying to figure out what was the difference. Okay, so why is it that, these black students are not as successful as the white or Asian counterparts? And so he asked a few of his peers and colleagues, and they were like, well, maybe it's just X, Y, and Z. And so, of course, people always want to blame it on your past community, your neighborhood, where you're coming from. And he was like, no, that can't necessarily be it, because in order for them to get into that particular establishment, that college, that they had to have high testing scores. So it wasn't like it was a low testing scores that the kids couldn't study or didn't know how to study or whatever else. So he was going through his research and trying to figure out what could it be. And what he noticed over time was it was the Asian students who did research and who studied and who prepared themselves for class in group, and they were in community, right? And they all worked together, they studied together, and they studied what he found out initially. They studied a lot less as far as time than those of the African American counterparts. And so he really was like, okay, so now that I know this information, now that I know that they study in group, they study as a unit, and these other students study, twice as much, twice to three times as much, and they're still not as successful, what can we do to change this? And so, excuse me, so sorry. In his research, he had the students to work together and came to a point in a realization that after the students started working as a unit, as a team, and building community, that their scores were much higher. They didn't study as long. They had time to dive into other after school programs and activities and whatever else. So again, when we talk about being in community, there's a lot to talk about. Another thing that I was looking at, I think this was probably almost a year ago. Yeah, it had to be almost a year ago, was the actual, how did it go? There was a study done. Okay, so there's three studies that come to mind. One is a study, I don't remember who did it. One is a study, one is a book. The book is Joe Dispenza. One was a scientific research, and it dealt with animals, zoo animals, but pretty much saying how we have this mesh, this frequency mesh, or what is the word that I'm searching for in my head? I don't even know. Let me not think too far off, because it's not helpful right now. But anyway, so let's say that there is this frequency mesh that that pretty much entangles all people who are within so many feet together. And so it's this idea that you have a I really want to know. I'm gonna pause on that, because as much as I want to talk about it, I want to give y'all the facts, and I want to make sure that it's straight in what it is that I'm saying. Because there's so many different things. Well, there's so many different things. With Joe Dispenza, he talks about it's two books that he actually has, and I've mentioned them previously in some of my videos. But he talks about like the heart effect, and how you amplify what it is that you are thinking through your hearts and your emotions. And then of course, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of torrid fields or anything like that. I think I did a video on torrid fields. If not, if I did, please go back and look. If not, y'all let me know on this thing and I'll do a video on it. But your torrid field is pretty much like your own globe around you, your own energies being used either to help. I want to say just help you, but it can either help or harm you. If you have a low torrid field, then things can get in within your torrid field and adjust who you are. So think of it this way. Y'all know how COVID with everything, everybody was like, oh, stay 6 feet away, 6 feet, 6 feet, 6 feet. Well, if you are an individual who, let's say you have a low torrid field, you're leaking in certain areas. And when I say leaking, I mean energy, because the energy is ever moving and changing and shifting. So your energy is leaking from you. You're a person who's always tired, lethargic, whatever else. You come around somebody who has high energy, either that person will cipher energy off of you, where they will be even you will be even more tired, or that person can help build energy for you. So if you guys aren't aware, you can look into like Reiki and different things like that, energy healers. I don't do that. I'm very pro energy healing, but do your research. Find good people, good quality people to call upon. Most of the individuals that I like and follow are older individuals. I don't know if I have not checked into them to see if they're still doing what they're doing, so I don't want to list any names in this particular video. However, as far as research goes, a lot of them have a lot of nice research. But when it comes time for that, I'm going to go over some of their books, and I'm going to tell y'all how to get in contact with them. So stay tuned, okay? But, oh, I went scientific, y'all. I went left. But anyway, let's bring it on back. So, there are some people who you get around who, when you leave, you feel more energized with them. You don't feel as lethargic, tired, or whatever else have you, because when you're in their presence, your energy fields are being healed, and the energy is transferable. So you have to, so like going back to COVID, they had these things saying stay 6 feet apart, because it's this idea, yeah, you know, we're talking about people will be like germs and all these other things, but you really have to look deep into that, because a lot of stuff that is scientific is also spiritual at the same time. So I'm not gonna get too much into none of that, but do your research, like, hello. But you can, what I'm trying to say is that you as an individual, your energy, all those things can shift. Just think of a shift around specific people. And one of the things I want you to think about is thinking about how when somebody is angry, right, and they come into a space, you can have this happy-go-lucky person who is in that space with this angry person, and they may be able to maintain themselves. However, everybody else around them may feel some kind of way, or their attitude, different things may shift and change based off of being in this space with this angry person. Or the same thing can happen. You have a really happy-go-lucky person. They smile, they laugh, they try to cheer you up. That still is energy, transmuted energy. You guys can, again, look into any of those things. It's important to know, so that you maintain and understand the people around you, and thoughts are transferable as well, whether you realize it or not. So building the right community, being able to change your thought quickly, shift your mindset quickly in community with a lot of people who are, I don't want to say higher than you as far as like, you know, your job or whatever else, but people whose mindsets are a little bit different. When you come into, say for instance, you want to be a business owner, you come into contact with individuals who already own their businesses, and the majority of your friends, they're not entrepreneurs, they're workers. So when they're trying to tell you information, they're telling it to you from a worker standpoint. However, when you get into relationship with other business owners, other CEOs, whatever it is, CFOs, COOs, they give you information from their point of view, their perspective, their past, their experience. And so it allows you to be able to shift your mindset a little bit quicker when you come into contact with problems, because it's not to say that you won't have problems. However, you can overcome them quicker because your community can support you in whatever the endeavor is, or help you shift in mindset, because they may throw out 2, 3, 4, 5 ideas, and that gives you opportunity to choose from something to then build yourself up to the next level. Yeah, I feel like I'm saying a whole lot and a whole lot of nothing at the same time. It's always like that with me. Probably because I ain't playing none of this. I wasn't thinking about none of this. No, I forgot why I kind of started. But either way, at the end of the day, the thing that I want you to take away from it is, again, build yourself a supportive community. I may watch this later and come back with some other things that I did not get around to, because clearly I got on me a little tangent. But yeah, y'all, build yourself a community. Be mindful of the people that you hold space with, hold yourself around. All of that is it is important, and it will play a major role in your self-development, both. Look, you developing as the individual that you want to be, whatever that may be. What I do is I help people strategize these things. I help individuals who say they want something not only understand what it is that they're asking for, figure out ways in which that they can accomplish these goals, but I actually do help people find those individuals as well who can help them be more successful. I help individuals build and create community. I help people understand why they are going through a lot of reoccurring concerns or issues. Oh, y'all hear that? I help them understand why they're going through a lot of reoccurring concerns or issues. I help people really pinpoint out sometimes how they are stating they want some type of experience, and the reasons why they're in something different, the reasons why they are not being as successful as they wish they could be. Um, all of those amazing things. So yeah, y'all, that's what we do around here in these parks. But I'm about to go, y'all, because y'all already know this went on longer than what it usually go on, and I done made it to my destination because I'm always on the go, and I love it, and I love it. Jesus. All right, y'all. For real this time. I love y'all. I'm gonna see y'all later. Y'all have an amazing day, whether it's the morning, the afternoon, or the night, and I'll see y'all later. Oh, I remember. I'm coming back to y'all again because clearly I was talking about the room and I ain't never finished. I got y'all. See y'all later.